Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. A happy place to be this morning as Tottenham sits second in the Premier League table after 4 games, 9 points from 12. And all is rosy at Tottenham. What a cruisy, comfortable evening it was for Tottenham Hotspur. West Ham look an absolute shambles. Absolute shambles of a football club. The midfield has no legs. The defence has absolutely no structure. And it was, at times, like taking candy from a baby. We're going to go through the game. We're going to go through the player ratings. We're going to go through some tweets as well, because there's some absolute whoppers of some takes out there with regards to certain performances with regarding certain players. That's, you know, that I guess people have this notion in their mind that, you know, you have to be a star to get recognition. If you just go about your job doing it quietly, but being comfortable with the role that you play, then that's not enough, and that they fly under the radar. I mean, it's just madness, really. But absolutely sensible. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Pellinia being the operative word, I guess. I mean, some of the takes I've seen are just insane. That he's no good, or that he doesn't do enough. A 6 is not supposed to write the headlines. The best 6s in the game are not the people that are on the back pages of the newspapers. They're supposed to go under the radar. They're supposed to be stealth in their job. That's the way. That's their role in the game, is to just be in the right place, to tidy things up, and then to distribute it to someone who can do more with it than they can. It's very rare do you have monsters in the 6 that are also deep-line playmakers and creative and can be that spark. It's very rare that you have them in world football. If you have one, you don't usually have the other. In Pellinia, you have the former, right? You have the destroyer, you have the monster, you have the guy that just tidies things up and just sets the tempo, but gets the transition going. But that's never going to be the feature. If you're thinking about the game, you're never going to remember him. And if you don't remember him, that's probably a good thing, because he's doing his job, especially if you're 3-0 up and you've reduced West Ham to pot shots from distance. They only had one chance. They only had one chance in that game that was noteworthy, really. They had a few shots on goal, but they were pot shots and nothing from it. There's only that one chance at 0-0 in the first few minutes of the game, first 10 minutes, I think it was, that Paqueta pulled wide. But they didn't really have too much else to get to grab hold of. And as soon as the second half took place, then it was just a matter of time, wasn't it? We get the first goal, then they had that absolute lunatic moment from Soucek trying to break Pellinia's leg. Pellinia very, very lucky that it grazed him, even though it tore his sock. They go down to 10 men. Then we get the second a few minutes after that. And then it's just everything else is, that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. But that isn't all that we've written, guys. We've got lots to talk about. And if you don't mind, please do smash the like button for me on the video. If you, as you take your shoes off, make yourself a cup of tea, whatever it is that you're doing on this Sunday morning. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe as well if you haven't already. And if you haven't already and you want to participate in the chat and it says subscriber mode only, all you've got to do is rub the sub. Just hit it and it will open up like Bonnie Blue, and you can come in and participate in the chin wag. Hit the notification bell as well, so you know when we're going to go live, and hit the comment section and let us know your thoughts on yesterday's game, right? Because I mean, it was a perfect way to come back from the international break, right? Tottenham don't have a great... in fact, before I get into that, last thing I forgot to say, this stuff is always available on Spotify, where you can watch the show back. If you're not watching it live and you would rather watch it when you're out for a walk or whatever, and you can do that on Spotify. You can listen to it, obviously, on Apple and Amazon Pods and all that stuff. Links are in the description. Please do help us out. Go over there and give us a follow and a 5-star rating if you don't mind, if you get the chance, if you get the urge. And lastly, today's video is sponsored by OK Jersey. okjersey.com. There's the QR code, and over there you can find the best replica shirts in the game, around about £15-16. You get all your badges, you can get your names on the back, third kits, Tottenham kits, Barcelona kits, whatever kits you really want, they're all there. And whilst that price alone is phenomenal, you actually get an 8% discount a further discount at checkout with the code Sean, SEAN. All the details are there in the little blue banner. Appreciate them. Appreciate you all, guys. Let's sort of get into it a little bit, right? So the team news, the team sheet, starting out for Tottenham Hotspur. Well, both teams sort of went a little bit weird. Paqueta was playing in a false 9. He was experimented there. There was no Callum Wilson for West Ham. He's still getting back to full fitness, but he did put in a good shift in their previous game, their win against Nottingham Forest. And so you would have expected him to start because of Fulkrug's absence. But they didn't. They went and played Paqueta in a false 9. It didn't work. Didn't work at all. I was a little bit confused with how they were going to do it. Somerville and Bowen did have some access during the game. I still feel like Pedro Porro, as much as he's brilliant going forward, as much as the ball at his feet, he adds that additional creative outlet. He is the target, right? He is going to be the target. If other teams look for templates, how do you set up, to play against certain teams? We knew the template last season under Ange Postecoglou. Him or the left back were the templates then because of the inversion and the progressed forward model and mode. But it seems this season, because we're a little bit more balanced and the line is a little bit deeper, they just want to they get a tricky winger, a powerful dribbler, a one-on-one specialist, and they go after Pedro Porro because Jed Spence is probably the best one-on-one defender in the Premier League, I'd imagine, as a fullback. I'm not sure there's too many better. Maybe there's one or two out there that have got that kind of got that claim as well. But generally speaking, if you are a one-on-one player, then you're going to want to go on the left and take on Pedro Porro. It will be interesting to see if at any point they decide to put Destiny Udogie back in on the left and play Jed Spence on the right, because Pedro Porro plays absolutely every minute, every game. He's a physical specimen. He never gets tired, and he never has any stamina issues. But his problem is obviously defensively in the corner, in the pocket. And I can't remember the last time he had a successful pocketing of a left winger. And I'm not going to say yesterday was that day. He was better. He couldn't get much worse than how he was fared against Semenyo last week, or 2 weeks ago. But it still was and will be the outlet for people, for other teams when they play against us. We have to talk about the Villarreal team as well, because they've got some very, very feisty players on the left-hand side that will probably go at us down that channel as well. So on Tuesday night, which I can't wait, the Champions League gets back. But the overarching team from West Ham, I looked there and I thought, well, look, their defence is going to need to hold up. Essentially, Max Kilman and Mavropanos are going to be the deciding factors here. They don't have much talent on the wing backs, although that Diouf, gee whiz, he caused some problems, didn't he? In the overlap, he's got unbelievable pace on him and wonderful left foot whip. Like he can hit that ball running at pace, and he can get unbelievable whip on those crosses into the danger zone time after time after time. And that was their threat in the first half. Down that side, they would double up. Somerville and him would double up on and sort of triangle past Kudus, and then essentially win the battle against Pedro Porro. And that was where most of their threat came from. But yeah, Diouf defensively terrible. He's got absolutely no positional sense, and Kudus had a lot of joy down that right hand side from standstill positions as well. One of the things that you typically think about when you have take on guys is most of the time they're sort of trying to beat the guy whilst moving. But 3 or 4 times yesterday, Mohamed Kudus was standing still with Diouf standing in front of him, and he just drop his shoulder and go. Reminded me a little bit of Ivan Perisic. And for those people that are doing bingo, what I'm about to say when I talk about Ivan Perisic, the cadence of his step overs was just rhythmic and hypnotic in the way that you never really knew when he was going to drop that final shoulder and go either in or out. Kudus wasn't doing that. Kudus just stands there and then just goes, all right, lad, are you ready? Are you ready? You ready? It's going to happen now. Oh, I'm gone. And he was gone every time. And look, he had a nasty afternoon from the fans, but he didn't shy away. He was right up for it. And he was very unlucky to not get the first assist. We'll talk about that in a second. The disallowed goal. You couldn't get more clumsiness from the VAR. It's absolutely disgraceful. Comes that way. But the team news. So West Ham went, as you would imagine, apart from Paqueta. Paqueta playing in a more advanced role didn't work. But I think West Ham were going to always rely. The only way they were going to get out of yesterday defensively unscathed was if Max Kilman and Mavropanos were going to have the cadence. There he is. Butler bingo. Big up to you, Drew. Great to see you last night, man. Always a good time when I'm with you, buddy. Always a good time. And looking forward to doing the fan phoning show tomorrow if you're still about for that, mate. But Max Kilman and Matt Rathos, they had nothing in the end. They couldn't handle it. Defensive, they were okay a little bit from set pieces and that they won some of their headers, but apart from that first moment when Bowen broke free down the right hand side, pulled it back and did a lovely sort of 1-2, and then it fell to Paqueta, who kind of struggled to get it out of his feet, and when he finally got it out, he put it wide. Apart from that, I don't really remember too much in the way of major threats. There might have been a couple here and there, but generally speaking, they had their advances down the left-hand side. But that was about it. And Tottenham kind of was slow to get into the game. 15 minutes, I was like, well, this is a little bit, you know, was kind of slow out of the traps here, a little bit like we're running in quicksand. Tottenham decided to play Pellinia in the 6. We're going to come to. I didn't think it was necessary to play him. I think that we could have got away with doing something different if they wanted to play Bentancur, if they wanted to do, you know, something else with regards giving Moani some minutes and that. It was going to be difficult to sort of squeeze everybody in. And guys, I wanted to kind of just pause for a second, right? Because I'm going to see if I can get it up. 1 sec. The team sheet that we started with. Now, it initially caused some not concern, but consideration. I was thinking, you know, why are we doing it this way? What's going on here? When we were playing Mathys Tel in the 9, I was a little bit kind of weirded out. And by the way, like, you know, I feel like I'm not going to give up on the guy at all. Of course I wouldn't. I think he's a real talent. But I do think that Mathys Tel is a specific type of player that is more of an inside forward. I'll come to his game specifically later on, but if you're going to play a front 3, he certainly isn't a 9. Certainly, in my opinion, is nothing like a 9. Not in the way that we play anyway. And I don't think he's a winger either. I think he's that inside forward guy that can operate kind of on that apex of the box and you know, use his ability to kind of whip balls from both feet with consummate ease into the top bins, that sort of connection. But I don't know how that works in the system and the way that we play. So it might just be a horses for courses thing. He probably does need a loan, to be honest, but I don't know how he'll feel about being loaned out. You know, it's not that we care about his feelings necessarily, but it is what it is. Anyway, this is the starting 11 that we went with. And so you've got Vicario, Pellinia, and by the way, Spurs official, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you're not, but if you are, please, for the love of God, stop with the chronology in numerical order. Drives me up the wall. Can we just have goalkeeper, fullback, centre-back, fullback, please, midfielders, then forwards? It drives me up the wall. Anyway, we have Vicario, Romero, Van der Ven, obviously Spence and Pedro Porro. And then we went with a kind of a 6 in Pellinia. And I wasn't really sure who it was going to be, Berghvall or Sarr, that was playing in the more advanced role. And it kind of felt like they were just very fluid. It almost felt like we had 1 6 and 2 advanced 8s or 2 10s or whatever you want to think of it. Like both of them were at times more advanced than each other. But I would say if you had to pick one that was the more advanced in the 10 or whatever, I'd say it was definitely Berghvall yesterday. And I guess this is where my point I'm leading to. Forget about the front 3 for a second in Xavi, Kudus and Tel. When you look at this bench, guys, like Kinsky, Danso, Richalison, Udogie, Johnson, Odebear, Bentancur, Davies, and Kolo Muani, that is the strongest bench I've seen from a Tottenham Hotspur team in years. Now, it might not be world-class levels of depth, 100%. I'm not going to argue or like challenge that narrative. I'm not saying that it's not beyond the realms of improvement. Of course it is. But it is a far cry from some of the depths that we had towards the end of the Conte era, towards the end of and even Ange Postecoglou. Now, I know that they obviously Ange had injuries and stuff, but we have gone through a massive transition of squad rotation over the last 3 years. An absolutely huge amount of squad rotation. This is on the screen, isn't it? Yeah. I'm going to come and say hello to the chat in a minute, by the way, guys. Sorry if I'm sort of rambling on without welcoming you guys in. I'm looking off screen at the moment, so I'll come back to you. But an unbelievable depth there. And we're not far away from having Radu Dragusin back. who will immediately increase that level. And we're also not far away from Dominic Solanke coming back. And also, Decky's only a couple of months away. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to have injuries. Of course we are. But there's no Archie Gray. Archie Gray didn't even make the bench yesterday. Archie Gray was dropped from the squad. So when Radu Dragusin's fully fit, when Decky's fully fit, and when Solanke's fully fit, all three of them are weeks away. I mean, I think Decky's maybe more like late November, December. But obviously, we're not including Maddison and things in there. You're going to have 3 or 4 great players that are not going to make the matchday squad. But when was the last time we've ever had that situation? Superb. And the midfield, the options that we have in midfield, again, I don't know whether or not they're all brilliant or they're all average, but wherever you sit on the kind of spectrum of what you think about them, I think we'd all agree that there's not a huge amount of difference in the quality levels between any of them. Bissouma on his day is as good as Bentancur on his, when Bissouma wants to be. And of course, Bissouma's not there either. It's another one I've left off. I mean, Archie Gray's probably not ready yet. Berghvall, one of his best performances yesterday, I think, in a Tottenham shirt. He got an assist and a goal, and what a header. I did say to you guys last season, and Drew was very kind to point it out, weren't you, Drew, in the stream yesterday? I said, well, you watch Berghvall, his ability to read the flight of the ball. He's going to be a defensive, he's going to be an aerial threat. Obviously, yesterday's example was very specific and nuanced, just from horrendous defending. But he is someone that offers a threat in that regard. He's tall as well, very deceptively tall. He's got deceptive hops on him. And I think he's going to be someone that you're going to see pick up more and more opportunities aerially. And then you've got Pape Sarr, he's emerging into a fantastic player. He's got such unique specificity in his skill set. There's no one else in the Premier League that I can think of that has quite got the engine that he has with that kind of rangy ability to cover grass, plus his ability to intercept the game or intercept the ball via reading the game, his footballing IQ. People don't credit him with footballing IQ, but you can't do those things just by being fast or by being able to cover ground. You need to be able to read the game and be able to interpret what's going on. And he's very, very good at that. Berghvall, like I say, youngster, right? So much room to improve. But he chose Tottenham over Barcelona as one of the kind of best young bits around. And he has settled into life in the UK superbly well. And people are out there on Twitter saying that he's been overlooked and things, right? I don't think he's been overlooked. I think that there's just a decent amount of competition for places in our squad. I really do think he is a player that has, a hell of a lot going for him. But at the same time, you have to imagine that, in certain games, Pellinia is going to be the 6 because you need that guy. We haven't, none of the others can do the things that Pellinia can do in just sort of protecting the back four, allowing, I think Sava, maybe still watching, but Sava said when I spoke with him on his show ages ago, we need to get Pellinia out of Bayern Munich, and Sava correctly summarised these. I just imagine that kind of sigh of relief that the back two, the Romeros and the Van der Vens are going to be able to breathe if you have someone like him that's just sitting there gobbling things up, that has the ability to cover ground without getting pulled out of position, because defenders can't do that stuff. Defenders have to stick to their positions, their zones, if you like. Otherwise, it just completely causes chaos with the organisational structure. A 6 has the freedom to be able to move into areas, to pockets, to pick up the danger, and to quash the threat. And he's brilliant at doing it. I think he had the most duels yesterday, the most tackles, and the most recoveries in the game. And people are sitting there saying he's not set up for these sorts of games. I understand the point that the point that people were making. I think it was Lily White Lab who said it, right? And I don't know him, but I know he's well respected for his tactical analysis or whatever. So, to each their own. But I understand the point he's making, that you don't necessarily need a Pellinia in a game like West Ham if you think you're going to be comfortable enough in possession, have enough possession, and then because he isn't as good on the ball as other players can be, then is it a sacrifice that you need to make? Not having that guy that can distribute. But when you have someone like Romero next to Pellinia, who's the best passing centre back in the game, then Pellinia can win the ball back and either give it forward to a Berghvall or a Sarr or whoever, give it to a Pedro Porro, Or if he wants to, give it to one of our centre backs, who are both in their own vein very, very good with the ball at their feet. Van der Ven, not so much as a passer, although he's not terrible, but he's more of someone who just sort of drops his shoulder and just charges forward. And it's quite an intimidating thing to see a guy who's 6'4" with his pace and his ability to kick the ball but keep it fairly close whilst doing it at like half speed or 3/4 speed, which for him is still faster than most of us can run. Or you give it to Romero, who can, I've said it for ages, he's the best passing centre-back in the Premier League. I don't think there's an argument there. I think he's so good. Toby Alderweireld style stuff yesterday for Berghvall's goal. Absolutely brilliant. We said it. What's this saying? The waffle we are learned to spout like gospel. Don't take yourself serious. You don't have anything of value to say. Who's taking themselves too seriously? And why are you here? If that's about me, why are you here? Oh, yeah. Gee whiz. If that's about me, why are you here, bro? If I've got nothing valuable to say, which is fine, by the way, I agree. There is nothing valuable in what I say, but I want to talk about Tottenham. You ain't got to be here, my man. You ain't got to be here. Tel didn't play well, did he, Sean? Oh, sorry, Tel played well, didn't he, Sean? No, he didn't. He had a terrible game, I thought. Although he was involved in the third goal, but he didn't have a good game. I don't like him in the 9. I don't feel comfortable with him in the 9. I prefer him off the left. I do prefer him off the left if you're going to put a position. But now you've got, Udogie that's probably going to have those minutes ahead of him, and also, Xavi Simons, who we're going to come to. I think you have. I think it's going to be difficult. I think it was right for Thomas Frank to play him yesterday. I do think it was right for 2 reasons. One is we do have a Champions League game on Tuesday, and so I think that there'll be lots of situations where we're playing in the game before the Champions League, or maybe the game after the Champions League. We will be playing him. I think they'll use that. They'll use him in that regard because, he's a good, useful player. I think he's well short of confidence. And I've always said this. I think the people that present themselves as super confident in everything, that nothing dents them, that when they miss a penalty or they miss the through ball, I think, or the one-on-one in the Newcastle preseason game, and they kind of shake it off and like, you're nothing, I'm impenetrable, bro. I think people that have that kind of style of personality, I think they're usually covering up insecurity. In my experience, I see it in sales. I used to see it in sales all around the world. People that always, pretend like they can't be broken by momentum going against them or whatever. It's all about us. No shots fired. It's about all of us. No shots fired. Oh, okay. Cool, man. Cool. Well, nice to see you anyway, Dickie Dick. Morning, Blaine. How are you? I think. I generally think, Daniel, that he should have been played, because also I think if you've just been dropped from the Champions League squad, then you have to feel like you're still wanted, right? And it's a difficult situation for Thomas Frank to have to handle, to say to one particular player, above. I mean, the rest of the players that were dropped from the Champions League squad were injured, right? And I think maybe Bissouma was dropped as well. I think, and he's not necessarily injured, but he's on the naughty step right now. So I think that Mathys Tel hasn't necessarily done anything, or he's not. There's no other reason to drop him other than he's bottom of the pecking order in terms of how Thomas Frank sees those options. And so you still got to keep those people motivated. You still got to keep them, on side, because you're going to need them at some point in the season. So I think it was right to play him for that reason. B, I think he had one of his better games last year. In his first season in the league was against West Ham away. It was like towards the end of the season. It was the most boring game ever. I think it was 1-1, most boring game ever. But I think he was better in that game than most. But I certainly think that you need to keep these people. I think you definitely need to keep these people as happy as you can. So it does make sense. It does make sense to have played him. But did I think he had a good game? No, I didn't. I thought he was poor. I think he kind of runs around in kind of circles a little bit. I think he's always trying to find space. I just don't think he's on the wavelength yet of the Premier League or maybe he's just not that good. I don't know, but like I certainly see, I'm certainly struggling to defend my argument that he's going to ball out. I think I said he was going to ball out this year or something and score 15 goals or whatever, 15 GA. That looks like a tall order at the moment, to be honest. But I still think he's got a lot of talent, though. I think he will become a very good player. Maybe not at Tottenham. Maybe at Tottenham. Hopefully at Tottenham. He's here for a long time, unless we cash in. I would find it weird how you go and loan him out, though. You know, what sort of message does that send? You've left him out of the Champions League squad. He's come from Bayern Munich. He's come down to it in his mind. He's probably come down the level to Tottenham, and then Tottenham are also saying, "Nah, look, at the end of the day, he's got a short career. He should try and find a place that gets the best out of him in the short term. If we stay injury free, and if we have intentions to improve in that regard in the left wing spot in January, we were having this conversation yesterday about after the show, right? Or maybe it was in the preamble. I think it was the pre-show when these teams came out. Let's go back in. So when these teams came out yesterday, and we were having a look. The reality is, right, that it is one of the strongest sort of squads that we've had for a hell of a long time. So young as well, so much time on their side, so much enthusiasm and sort of youthful exuberance that can be grown together with the likes of Cochrane and Thomas Frank pulling up trees with their sort of development skills, and then from there. Right now, if you're looking at that squad, are you happy with Lucas Berghvall being in the squad? I am. Are you happy with Pape Sarr being in the squad? I am. Are you happy? Like who on that 11 are you not happy with? I know most people would say Mathys Tel, but everybody else on there we're happy with, right? So we're not trying to sell any of them really. What about in January? If you go and get a striker, in who's top draw, and you go and get a left winger who's top draw, and then Xavi ends up being in the 10. And by the way, as much as I thought he was all right yesterday, great corner. We'll come to it in a second. I think he's a 10. He's very good at picking the ball up on the left-hand side, and he loves to sort of maraud forward and draw players out of position to come and get him. And he's very clever the way he spins it over to the right-hand side. I like the hookup between him and Kudus. Kudus was everything Kudus did. Started mainly from Xavi Simons bringing the ball in field and then whipping it out to him. Lovely, lovely signs of things to progress from. But I want my left winger to be like a Kudus on the left. I want that dual threat of two people that get the ball and then can go down the byline as easy as they can cut inside, that have the ability to contribute goals. I wanted an Ademola Lookman before I wanted a Savio. I've got to be honest, though, Ademola Lookman being left out of Atalanta's squad yesterday, again, completely blanked. He's not injured. What's going on there? What is like? It's like the third manager in a row that he has had arguments with. You know, what's the guy's name? Juvic. Is it Juvic or Lukic? Whoever the current manager of Atalanta is, doesn't like him. Gasperini didn't want him. Is he a dickhead? Is he? I don't know. But what you don't want, I don't know the personality of that. Well, I love the player, but maybe the person's a problem, you know? And this is why if you go and sign players on 5-year deals and they end up being donuts, then, you know, that can be problematic. That's why you should probably avoid the potholes.
You better watch out for the pothole, 'cause it's something to avoid. Don't ignore all his issues. Don't ignore all the noise.
Yeah. But listen, I think the squad is really getting there. It's really getting there. And I don't know what our best midfield three is right now. And it's a wonderful headache to have, guys. It's a really, really smart problem to have given yourself, that Pape Sarr can play in the 10. Pape, what are we doing here? What's going on with that? Why has that gone all weird? Is that better? That'll do. Pape Sarr can play in the 10. Berghvall can play in the 10. Xavi Simons can play in the 10. Love it. Left wing. We've got Xavi Simons. We've got options, Udogie, Tel, whatever. We've got options that we can work with. Maybe Kolo Muani as well. Didn't get a chance to see Kolo Muani yesterday. I'm really looking forward to seeing him. Are we going to see him on Tuesday, or is he just not ready yet because he's not fit, because he hasn't played in months? and basically spent the entire summer waiting to see where he was going to go. It's great having options, El Duderino. What a name. Yeah, look. You can have Kudus in the 10 if you wanted to. You know, there's room for a monster winger in our squad, isn't there? There's room for a monster winger in our squad. And if you go and get Savio done, whoever it is we're going to go for, let's hope that the Lewises who were there on the weekend, right, they turned up. We're on. By the way, the whole PR spin is cringy. Even the managers now is talking about the majority owners, you know, rather than just the owners, or rather than the Lewises, rather than whatever, right? Like it's 100% a message, a narrative to pull the wool over people's eyes. Like there's something new, you know. Papa's got a brand new bag. I'm not buying it. We shall see. But we should have enough money left over from the summer transfer window. And if these lot are going to put in 100 million quid, it's not going to touch the sides, by the way. It's not going to be enough to be able to kick us into, you know, the levels that Tottenham fans have been demanding for forever, that we put our best foot forward, give 100%, all of these sort of nothing burger, subjective lines. You know, sorry, Luba, but you know how I feel about your subjectivity things. But if that's what we want, which is essentially means getting to title challenges, 100 million is not going to move the needle enough. But when you look at the strength of our squad as it currently looks, I know we haven't got that many injuries at the moment, and touchwood will stay that way. A couple of the ones that are coming back, if they come back, get fit and get back to those levels, you know, we don't need, like in the initial instance, you don't need like 300 million quid. This in January, if you could go and get 2 players, or even 1 player that really moves the needle, but ideally 2, get that cover in the centre back spot or the left, get like a versatile left-sided defender, and then go and get that wing forward that you wanted, that maybe is an all-rounder that can do a bit of 9 as well. Then in the summer, you're ready to go again. Like Tottenham are getting there, aren't they? Like that work that's been put in the last few years is starting to materialise. This is why I was saying Ange Postecoglou, before Ange Postecoglou was even the guy, when Conte got sacked, I said that whoever the next guy is will be the guy before the guy, because he's inheriting a club that's moved towards a youth-centric model, and we've spent loads of money on all these kids, but the kids aren't ready yet. You know, they're still in the oven. The oven's not done. And so 2 years later, turned out Ange somewhat was the guy in that he got the trophy, but he still wasn't the guy, let's be honest. And see what happened yesterday at Arsenal? I mean, I was so torn yesterday, because on the one hand, I hate Arsenal, and obviously I want them to lose. But on the other hand, like, I don't know, I hate Forest as well. And now that Ange is a part of Forest, it makes the whole thing very odd. I don't know why I feel so dirty towards Ange. I feel like he's, you know, I hate the double speak. I hate it, and I've already heard it 2 or 3 times since he's been at Nottingham Forest as well. So anyway, let's do some super chats and we'll get back into it. Big up to you, Oscar. Thank you so much, my man. You started the super sticker train. Huge to you. Very, very cool of you, Oscar. Thanks so much, my man. Appreciate you, buddy. Big up to you, buddy. Big up to you. Dean Law's also in the house. Big up to you, Deanie. Houdini. That's you, Deanie. He's also come in with a super sticker. Choo to you. Also, Ulrika Johnson. Get yourself out of the bath, Ulrika. Dry your bits. Get your G&T ready. We are picking you up on the super sticker train. Thank you very much, miss. I hope you're okay out in Australia. Andy Lester, big up to you. Andy, big up to you. Very, very cool as well. Choo to you. And Dermatron is in the house. Big up to you, Dermo. He's got member for 25 months, mate. Thank you so much for your ongoing support of the channel, Dermo. Hope you're okay. Great win yesterday. Great start to the season. Come on, you Spurs. It is a great start to the season, isn't it? It is a great start to the season. Let's not sort of jump around the bush with regards the difficulty of the games, right? Man City away obviously is a very difficult place, and I'm glad we've continued our form there. Bournemouth was a tough test, and they look like, despite losing all 4 of their defenders last year, from last season, Kirkes, Huyson, and the other one whose name is going to come to me in a minute, who went to PSG, and they lost their right back or one of them, maybe their backup right back, whatever. they look good, don't they? They're on 9 points from 12, beating Brighton yesterday comfortably as well. Semenyo getting his another goal. And Brighton don't look that bad. Brighton still look like a really good player. Tell you what, that Minte on the right wing, don't sleep on him. Don't sleep on that Minte. He's a baller. He is a really... I've been watching him a lot more this season than I did last year. He is a really capable player. I really like watching him play. They've got such balance in Brighton, haven't they? They've got Matoma on the left. That's what you want. That's it. That's what I want in my right wing and left wing. I want players that can do the same as each other. They can connect the dots, but they're both terrifying on the outside and on the inside. And that's what I want. And we don't have it. I don't think we have it yet. I don't think Udogie has shown that he's there yet. He might be in the future. But I think you need someone else there now, and then let him learn from that, and let him come in the Doncaster games and those sorts of things. And we'll go again. A couple more super chats, and we'll carry on the story. Blaine TV, big up to you, Blaine. Choo to you, my man. Great to have you on yesterday as well, Blaine. Great to see you, mate. Freshly shaven, you look awesome as always, mate. Appreciate you very much. And he's also come in with a gift of 5 Spurs Talk Show memberships. Big up to you, Blainsky. Absolutely delicious, mate. Thank you very much indeed. If you were the recipient of one of those memberships, then please do say thank you to the best of the best when it comes to audience supporting people. Is that the right way of saying it? That'll do. Thank you very much, Blaine. Absolutely delicious, my man. Absolutely delicious. And yeah, Nita got one of them. Well done, Nita. Big up to you. Good morning, Wolves. Listen, mate, what's going on with you, bro? Not you specifically, but what's going on with Wolves? Nil point from 4. I didn't think Wolves were going to get sucked into a relegation battle, but I think you're still too good to get sucked into it. I think you just had a difficult start to the season, haven't you? Who have you played? Just have a look. Wolves have played. Who have Wolves had? Is it on the screen? Wolves have had Newcastle. Yeah, you shouldn't have lost to Everton. And then Bournemouth and City. You've had a difficult start to the season, to be honest. You'll be okay. You've had a very difficult start to the season. But you shouldn't have lost to Everton at home. But Everton look a little bit like they're revived as well, don't they? Don't they? Interesting. The league is very interesting at the moment. Really is. Let's have a look at the table, actually. Shall we? Where's my table? Where's my table gone? Oh, there it is. I knew it was somewhere. Here we go. Look at that. Wolves rules at the bottom. Villa 2 draws. Villa are in trouble. Oh, I'd love it if Villa got sucked into one. Get out of the league, you cheating gits. Who have they lost to? They drew yesterday 0-0. And then they played... who else have they had? They had Palace, Brentford, and Newcastle. Yeah, pretty difficult start as well. But... yeah. Who else we got? Where did we go to on this? Here we go. Go back to the table. Look at Tottenham sitting second on goal difference. 8 goals scored in 4 games. Only the 1 conceded to Bournemouth, to Semenyo, or to Denilson. Liverpool playing today, obviously. Who they got today, Liverpool? They're playing Burnley, aren't they? Yeah, so they'll be on 12 points. And then you got the big one as well, City against United. Man City in 16th, eh? They'll be fine. Anyway, back to the game. So yeah. Look, I mean, first of all, we started the game a little bit sloppy. I don't think we were fantastic at the start at all. And I thought what's going on here? Oh, that's not it. What am I doing? Remove that. Where's my button? That's the one. And then we get the chance, right? Then we get the corner kick from Kudus, and it goes over the top, and it gets disallowed. Unbelievable. Great header from Romero, who's going to be picking up goals. Our set pieces look so organised. It looks like they're absolutely structured by design. Micky van der Ven given that role of like disrupting and trying to cause a little bit of mayhem on the keeper and having 2 or 3 players around him. He's a big guy. It looks like it's all by design. But of course, this stupid new rule, this ridiculous new rule that's come in this season that doesn't have any consistency once again. If it's a two-handed push on the player, on anybody in the box, then it's a free kick against, and thereby proxy of that a penalty if it's the defender on the attacker, and vice versa. But they're trying to clamp down on it, but there's no context. Like what happened yesterday, Van der Ven was completely like surrounded, hugged by the goalkeeper and their centre-back, and then he gets pushed. And what happens when you get pushed? If you get pushed off balance, your natural body shape is to put your arms out. It's just you can't stop that. That's not... So he gets pushed, puts his arms out, and as he gets pushed into the other guy falls over, and they decide to blow up. Like in madness. But fair enough. If you're going to do it, then at least be consistent. And what happens 5 minutes later? Van der Ven gets manhandled to the floor from another corner kick. And did we get anything on that one? Of course we didn't. Absolutely insane. OK Jersey shipping to Australia let raise. I'm going to speak to Edward today and find out, mate, because one of the guys that won the or Roosper, who won a shirt in the raffle yesterday, he's out in Melbourne, so I need to figure it out. Whenever I've asked Edward, he says, "Yeah, of course we do," but then you guys all tell me that you can't seem to get shipping to Australia when you go on the website. So leave that with me. I'll figure it out. I'll speak to him today and I'll update you in the community post or whatever. Bear with me though. Bear with me on that. So. Where do I get up to? So yes, so we have the goal incorrectly ruled out, or correctly if it's by the letter of the law, but then there's no context into what happens before. But surely Van der Ven got pushed into someone else. So didn't he have hands on him? Isn't the first infraction therefore him behind Van der Ven? Don't know. Whatever. But you could see that being absolutely insane. Everybody in the on the channel, everyone in the chat, even on the Sky Sports at half time. I remember James. Spurs related. Big up to you, James. I see you in the chat there, mate. But by the way, please go over to Spurs related. I forgot to plug his channel during the live stream yesterday, like a donut. Please go and find Spurs related, and I'll put the link up in a minute because he's a great guy and his channel's wonderful as well. And he's got his co-host is a guy called Frank Thomas. So even just for shits and giggles, go and find out about him. He's a very nice guy as well. He knows his stuff. Anyway, so we have it chalked off, and then for the rest of the game, it felt like for the rest of the half, it felt like there was a bit of frustration. Right, Romero was getting angry. You could see him getting a bit seething. I said to James in the game within 15 minutes, I said like, there's going to be a sending off in this game, and there was not until the start of the second half, and not through how I thought it was going to happen. But we go in at 0-0 at half time. All of the Sky Sports people, the punditry is saying, yeah, it's definitely. Gianfranco Zola said it's definitely it definitely wasn't a foul. Redknapp said it. The female journalist, the female interviewer, I don't know what her name is, she said it as well. Everyone sort of said it. Twitter was saying it. Even West Ham people were saying it's not a foul, right? So robbed. By the way, did you talk about robbed? Did you see Alan Sugar? I'm going to see if I can find it. Alan Sugar is basically doing libel or slander against Sky Sports and Jamie Redknapp. Let me see if I can find it. Lord Alan Sugar. Where are we doing here? What are we doing here? Here we go. Share the screen. This is funny. This is super funny. Why is it all the way down there? That's weird. I'm coming after you. Jamie Redknapp is a double-barrel idiot. He talks a load of rubbish. He said when Daniel Levy took over Spurs, Alan Sugar left the club in a right mess. He and Sky will be hearing from my lawyers on Monday. And he said it, he's reposted it, and then he's come again an hour later. I'm coming after you, Redknapp, you idiot. I mean, listen, I don't understand the law, right? I think you got this one. Every decision is going against Spurs. The VR decision, even the Sky pundits say was right. There you go. See, but I don't know how the law works with slander and libel, but I'm pretty sure people are allowed their opinions. He's definitely on the wine, isn't he? Chateau Neuf de Pape. He spat it out across his 80 square foot or 800 square foot lounge or whatever. You know, absolutely insane. Sugar on the sugar. I got to be careful. He might be watching this. He might come after me. I don't know. I don't know whether he left them in the. Look, I think Tottenham were a sustainable club, but it was the owner before Sugar that almost got us bankrupt. Irving Scholar. Yeah, the $5,000 red wine, 100%. I mean, I don't really understand what it is that what we're not allowed to have an opinion now about whether or not things happened. Surely it's subjective whether or not Jamie Redknapp left, whether or not Sugar left Tottenham in a mess. That can be a subjective word, right? So I'd be surprised if anything happens from it. But he was clearly having a bit of a Sugar versus 100 Jamie Redknapp. I think Jamie Redknapp's too much of a nice guy. I'd bet money on Sugar, to be honest. Sugar would be I reckon he'd be nasty in a fight. I can do whatever he's got to do to come out of that one on top. You know? Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. Anyway, so we go in 0-0 at half time. And then we come out and, well, all hell breaks loose, I guess, for West Ham. In the space of about 3 minutes, you've got Xavi Simons, who, as I say, I thought he had a fantastic debut. He didn't set the ground alight. He got an assist, could have got a second assist. He was involved in a lot of things, but I don't think it was a brilliant test, because I think that, you know, he was always going to just walk past players like Souček and James Ward-Prowse. You know, they're not mobile, and he is, right? And he just got the ball consummate ease and would just dip his shoulder and charge forward, charge more centrally. And I liked what I was seeing, and I liked the little chemistry, the connections that he was doing with Kudos, right? He would just skip players out. You know what I used to hate more than anything was when we do horseshoe football, but the players would never try to speed the game up by skipping past the next player in the horseshoe and just got to get it from left to right quicker. They'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back 2, 3, 4, and it was just, you know, like a line dance. And it was always so frustrating. People like Simons, I can see they just have this kind of like energy and this desire to get the ball where it needs to get to very quickly. So his ability to fly, his ability to run in with the ball, but he had a lot of space, right? So I haven't really seen him do the things that I'm looking forward to seeing him doing, like taking players on, little drop and little go. It was more just I'd receive the ball on the left-hand side and then I'd just sort of charge into the open space. But that was because West Ham just had no legs and they really weren't very good at all. Anyway, we get the corner kick. He lobs it into the back post. Have you ever seen defensive marking like it? I was trying to get a screenshot of it earlier, but on Twitter, the box, the screen didn't really show everything. But West Ham had 5-6 players at the front post or around the penalty area, and every Tottenham man was at the back post. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know who was responsible for what happened there. The defensive setup was insane. But look, Tottenham have got their set piece guys in, and Tottenham are really making use of it. But I don't know what we can learn from that, because it wasn't like West Ham made it difficult for us. You know, Pape Sarr didn't even have to jump. The 3 closest players to Pape Sarr for that goal were Tottenham players. You know, madness, absolute madness. Speaking of madness, we've got an absolute madness super chat here from Blaine. Big up to you, Blaine. Absolute legend, my man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my man. He says, question for you, Sean, and I'd like to hear the chat on this too. If we're 2 or 3 players being off extremely solid, how do we see the role of youth returning off loans next season? We've loads on loan. Do you see 1 or 2 making it? Look, I think what Johan Lang said about the loan thing was right, Blaine. I think he sort of said, like you can see the progression. You can see that the loan system is working by the fact that last season there were so many people in League Two and League One. And this season, so many more of them are at the Championship or in Germany with the case of Vuskovic. And they got pumped yesterday by, I think Vuskovic also gave away an own goal against Bayern Munich. I think it was a long shot from, was it Harry Kane? Was it someone? I forget who it was. I mean, Harry Kane scored 2, but it came off his knee or something, and it went into from a long shot. So not the greatest afternoon for him. But anyway, yeah, he's in Hamburg, and then obviously you've got Mikey Moore at Rangers. You've got Dorrington at Aberdeen. So like they're all. I mean, I think he got left out of the European squad as well, Dorrington, for what it's worth. But like the kind of the escalation in standard is getting there, and so it's proof that it's working. But you have to be patient with this youth system thing because clearly the club don't think that any of them are ready yet. But they might be ready in a year, or they might be ready the year after. But they don't have to necessarily all come through to us. Like if Mikey Moore goes on and smashes it at Rangers. And he's supposed to be the best of all of them. That Donnelly's a close second or whatever, and maybe Vuskovic is up there as well. But those three are the standout options at the moment. But if one of them comes back and does better than, say, an Ollie Skip or a Harry Winks did in terms of a Tottenham career, that's still a successful story. But as long as the youth system is paying for itself, as long as some of these players end up going for sort of 2-3 million quid, 5 million quid, 10 million quid, Cameron Carter's-Vickers. Everyone thinks of him as like a failed Tottenham prospect. He ended up he paid for a lot of the youth system for 3 or 4 years just on his sale to Celtic. So they don't all have to make it though, Blaine, And I don't expect a couple of them to be at Tottenham. And I think that's a successful story. Like, think about Manchester United, that team of 91. There was 5 or 6 players that all progressed at the same time. And that was just a very unique situation. Never before or never after has that been replicated. So if Tottenham can get 2 or 3 out of this crop that are this sort of generation between the people that are between the age of, say, 21 and 17, 16 now, we'll call that like a 5-year generation of youth. If 2 of those break through to Tottenham, I think that's a success. If 30 or 40% of the rest get sold and make a bit of money for the funding of the next generation, that's a success. Even if 10 of them don't make it, it's like mining for gold. I think the youth system, right? You have to put a lot of mud in the top and shake the pan, and little tiny nuggets come out. But you got to keep putting stuff in the top, and then a couple will pop out every now and again. I think that's the way that the expectations should be set around the youth system. Personally, But thank you. Oh, well, sorry. What was the other part of that chat? You said if we're only 2 or 3 players off being extremely solid. Look, I think you're always going to need to improve, right? Like, listen, I don't think there's ever a situation where we're going to be like, if Tottenham are only 2 players away, really? No, we're not, are we? We're nowhere near Liverpool. But you set that foundation. I think the foundation of the squad right now is very healthy. Got to get these players back from injury. You've got to move some of them on. You have to see what drops falls through the cracks in the youth system, and then go again. But yeah, if you can go and get yourself a 20 goal a season striker, and you can go and get that left winger that is just as terrifying as like a Kudus is, similar, like I say, to what Brighton have got with Mitoma and Minte, then to me, you're a centre back or like a left back, left side centre back away, and then you're pretty solid. And I think after that, you've got to look at the goalkeeper, because to me, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts, chat. And by the way, let the chat know. The chat do answer Blaine's question, right? What you guys? What are your guys' thoughts on the youth system? I see James is in there talking as well about it. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. A user is saying, "Miss you, Levy. Love you. Bring our Tottenham back." Yeah. It's interesting, right? I always was talking about like the successful teams. When I did that 75-year review of trophy successes in football, in English football, and I was like, it's not just money that is the basic foundation of how do you have success. Is other things, right? A youth system that does generate opportunities and supports the first team, and also that was a sort of prerequisite. When you look back at the Clough's era at Forest, when you look back at Tottenham under Bill Nick, when you look back at Shankleys and the Fergusons and all these guys that have done it for sustainable periods over the last 75 years for a bunch of different clubs. Wolves had it, Ipswich had it at times. The other foundation, there was always a figurehead. There was always like a main guy at the football club, whether it was the manager, whether it's the DOF, whether it was the owner, whether it was a player like a captain. There was always a consistent somebody at the club that was bigger than the rest, that would control things, or that would just be the kind of the image of whatever that success was based on. So Clough was the guy, right? Or Alex Ferguson, maybe Roy Keane, certainly Shankly. Those sorts of people were the figureheads in those successful periods. Tottenham need one of those. But when you think about when you think about Tottenham Hotspur, outside of players, what do you think of generally? I think most people would probably say Daniel Levy, right? But not for the right reasons. So Tottenham need their own figurehead. They need someone that's bigger than the football club, that can be here for a long time. And whether that's a manager, whether that's a DOF, whether that's Vinay, whether that's, shake, rattle and roll, if he comes in a couple of years' time, who knows? Who knows? I see people in the chat talking a little bit about, Schmeichel. Yeah, exactly. That's sort of like 100%. People are talking about Vicario. Robert Wilson saying Vicario is class. Lee saying he's playing well this year. I explained that well with the Nuggets. Thank you, James. Thank you, mate. I am Mr. Analogy. Vicario is an elite shot stopper. Big Vic is a decent keeper. I just worry Kinsky is not big enough threat to his position to push him on. I'd have loved us to have bought Kelleher. Yeah, Kelleher is was a very good player. He is a very good goalkeeper. I don't feel confident with Vicario. I don't feel confident with him. I think he parries the ball into danger zones. I don't like his defense very much. His footwork. I always feel like he's capable of making worldy saves. He really is, but he's also capable of having a bozo gene moment. Vicario and Kinsky are each other's opposite. One's strength is the other's weakness. Yeah, 100%. David Mazarel. Sean, great show yesterday. Great win over West Ham from Spurs in Cornwall. Appreciate you, David. Thanks, mate. I enjoyed it. I do enjoy the watch-alongs with James. It's a nice little, nice fun afternoon, especially when we win. So let's get back to the game, right? So we go 1-0 up. We go 1-0 up against the worst defensive set piece I've ever seen from West Ham. I've never seen a more Bozo-esque setup when they've got 7 men. Like, I don't know what it was, right? Because if it's zonal, then it's the weirdest zonal marking in the world that you leave the entire second half of the goal, the back half of the goal open. So it was just horrendous zonal marking. It certainly wasn't man-to-man marking. I don't know what sort of marking that was, but it doesn't fit zonal, and it certainly doesn't fit man-to-man. Because essentially, Xavi Simons just lofted. Simons must have looked and seen that. I mean, and fair play to him if he did, or maybe it was just luck that was the target to put it towards the back. But the fact of the matter is that the entire West Ham team were the corner side of the penalty spot, right? So if the penalty spot's here and the corner's being taken from here, basically 10 of the West Ham players were all that side, and 7 of Tottenham's players were here. It's absolutely insane. Ball watching marking. Yeah, I don't know what it was. But it was a fantastic cross. Fantastic cross. And listen, I think we have 2 great corner takers. One thing I will say, I do think we're over-egging the pudding a little bit by putting it into that danger zone. Like every single time we're trying to score from the corner or get it right in against the goalkeeper, because Van der Ven is doing his tussle and bustle thing. And that's fine. And I think it's dangerous, and I think it creates mayhem, and I think we'll get some flick-ons and knockdowns, and we'll get some goals. But I think a lot of them will get chalked off if this new rule is going to be as like exhausting and implemented as like furiously as it has been. And it's not just today, by the way. I've seen 3 goals chalked off There was another goal that was scored somewhere else yesterday that was for the same reason, and there was two last week, or two weekends ago, and there was a goal that was knocked off in the internationals as well for the same thing. So it's clearly something which is being looked at, but I think it's just it's missing context in a wild way, right? But what's John Mapp saying here? Sean, why are we not talking about Xavi Simons' corner taking ability? The curvature of the ball was so... We're literally talking about the corner kick right now, John. We're literally talking about it right now. The ball was fantastic, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know whether Xavi Simons was just like... It was by design... you know when he holds up one hand or he holds up two hands or whatever, that's all a signal, isn't it? Like, this is what we're going to do for this particular corner. I'm going to do it this way. Then I don't know if it was by design or whether it was like an audible, like in American football when like the quarterback or whatever, he sees that the defense know they've set up to predict what the offense's move's going to be, and the quarterback can see he's about to get smashed. So he calls an audible on the play. I don't know if that's what Simons did, if he saw the fact that West Ham's players were all at the front end of the goal and then decided to do it deliberately, or whether, like I say, don't know. But either way, it was a wonderful corner. And Pape Sarr had all the space in the world. It was the closest three players to him were Tottenham players. He didn't even have to jump, and he heads it in, firm header, bang, and Hermansen has absolutely no chance. We're 1-0 up. And so then we can all breathe a sigh of relief. And then it just gets better from there, because from the restart, 3 minutes later, Souček makes an absolute bozo of himself. He misses the ball or whatever, like a loose ball, and he decides to make up for it by going in knee-high to a grasshopper and rips the sock of Pellinia. And Pellinia is very fortunate, because if he's an inch one side, then he's taking that full brunt on a leg that won't bend that way. And then I think you could have easily broken his leg. Horrendous tackle. But I'll tell you what, though, I've got to be honest, the referee had his card out almost before the tackle was done. And so my initial thoughts when it happened was, I was like, wow, I mean, he wasn't far away, so he obviously could see it, but he didn't take a second to think about that. It was like the tackle was there, Pellinia's like screamed in pain. The sock is torn. And then he pulls the red card out, like, bang. And my gut instinct is like, you can't react that quickly. You haven't had time. You haven't allowed it to process. So are you feeling the pressure of having to give something a little bit more to Tottenham because you've been told at halftime that you screwed up with the VAR decision? I don't know. They're human beings, right? Yeah, there you go, Machina Joe. The referee was feeling guilty. I think so as well. Yeah, 100%. And excuse me, 1 second, guys. Got to close the door. Someone's put the TV on. I can hear it. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, we go. Yes, so that happens, right? He gets sent off. He gets his marching orders. No need to. Well, they reviewed it, but no need to overturn. And then we go. So we go 1-0 up. We get down to 10 men, feeling pretty comfortable from there. And from the restart, West Ham are just asleep. And this is where I just think that they're not coached, they're not organised, or they just don't care. Like they're in a fight for their relegation, like for their Premier League lives, or they will be. They absolutely will be. And from the restart, Xavi Simons just knocks it to Pellinia. Pellinia just knocks it to Romero. Romero looks up and sees Berghvall that's got acres of space, makes a late run. I mean, what a chip, though. What a chip. Geezer's the best centre-back in the game. And this is why when people say Pellinia doesn't need to be there in those sorts of games because you're missing out on that creative element from midfield, I think they're a little bit short-sighted because you have those options from players in the back that shouldn't necessarily have those capabilities, but they do. Like, you can give the ball, Pellinia can win the ball back and then give it to Romero, and he can do what another midfielder probably he can do those balls better than other midfielders. You know? I genuinely would sit there and think if you put Maddison in that position and you put Romero in that position, like I don't mind who it is that's taking that long ball forward, because Romero's ability to weight that, put the right flight on it, just sort of float one in there like a flop shot with a lob wedge, and Berghvall's ability to run, as I said before, his ability to read the flight of the ball. I said this when I first saw him play. So he's going to be someone that is going to be defensively very good aerially and offensively very good aerially, because he's a tall guy and he can jump, but he has the ability to read the game. And he did absolutely sensationally well. Just gets up, floats it over the top. And Hermansen again in no man's land, no chance, 2-0, down to 10 men, game, set and match. That's all she wrote. Well, it wasn't all she wrote. It wasn't, because the situation then gets worse for them a little bit later on when Mathys Tel picks the ball up on the right-hand side and runs in, hands it over to Berghvall, lets Berghvall take it. Berghvall does a little tricky, tries to kind of almost. I haven't seen it closely enough to see whether or not he managed to sort of walk it round the player, or whether it was a bit of like he stumbled into it, like they bounced off like a bit of a ricochet. But either way, he tries to take it round Kilman, and then looks up, finds Micky van der Ven of all people on the edge of the area, and was it Bowen? Was it Bowen? Yeah, and then from there it was game over. It was game over. Because Micky van der Ven knows how to find the corner. I mean, we've got players that can score goals everywhere, haven't we? From their feet. I mean, Micky van der Ven scored a couple of goals last season with his feet that was just absolutely unbelievable. Power shots from sort of the similar sort of area into the top bins. If you remember all the way back, Micky van der Ven's goal in one of the first 10 games, I think it was under Ange Postecoglou. I think it was against Sheffield United, was it? When we scored last minute. I mean, he's not a defender, is he? He's a defender, but he's a footballer. You know, and Romero's a footballer, and Sarr is a footballer, and Berghvall's a footballer, and these guys are capable of doing everything. They're not people that you look at and go, well, they can only do this because that's their position. Our squad is full of talented footballers that are capable of doing wonderful things. And Destiny says here, Micky and Romero make me feel safe like Jan and Toby did. 100%, mate. 100%. 100%. And Luton as well. Yeah, he scored against Luton as well, Diggy. Yeah, Digger. You're unbelievable. Yeah, I was there. Was that game? That game? That was brilliant. And so what you're left with, a big up to you, James. You can jump on, but I'm not going to be going for too much longer. I'm only going for sort of 10, 15 minutes. I just wanted to come on and do my my match review, mate. So let me know if you still want to come on for 10 minutes anyway, but I'm going to be finishing up in a minute. So we're 3-0 up. Games are good, and right? Game's done now. And the beautiful thing, though, is that everyone came through without an injury. Everyone played well, I thought. There was no one that played particularly badly. I think Mathys Tel probably just didn't get his rhythm again. And I'm not going to sit there and just sort of defend it or whatever, just because I backed him. Like, at the end of the day, he's got to pull his socks up. He's got to get on with it. He might be he might have his confidence down. But I think he's struggling to acclimate to the Premier League. I think he's struggling to find his sort of space in the team. And he runs around a little bit too much and doesn't really kind of offer too much. That's too much of a threat or scary. Mohamed Kudus on the right, loved him. I'll go through my match ratings now. We'll start at the back. Vicario, look, didn't do anything wrong. 4 saves. Most of them were fairly easy saves to make. So I think he made one good save from memory. Decent position, a decent effort. His long deliveries were good as well. Put the ball up into the danger zone. No real concerns from him. Although at times, I just got to be honest, there is still an air of me that I don't feel confident with him. But that's just a me thing, I think. But I'll give him a 7 because I don't think he did anything wrong. Jed Spence at left back. I thought Jed Spence was, generally speaking, had a good game. I don't think he was spectacular. I think I'd give him, a 6.5, 7. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he sort of tried to move the ball forward quite nicely and did have decent link-ups with Xavi Simons. That's a relationship that's going to grow, and the chemistry will for sure be there. But in terms of getting forward, doing the overlap, I don't remember too much coming down our left-hand side in terms of crosses coming in from open play in the overlap. With Xavi Simons coming so central, you're going to need someone on the left side who gets forward. It'd be interesting to see in certain games where the Destiny Udogie is the better fit to be able to link up with Xavi Simons. If Simons is going to play up the left and then drift in, then I'd probably rather see Destiny Udogie in that role. If you're playing against a team where you don't have too much in the way of threat. Jess Spence did an okay job against Jared Bowen and against Matthias Fernandez, who's a good player, by the way. I like that Fernandez. I think he's a handy player. Will be interesting. Spence is a future captain. Mark my words. He loves the game. Yeah, he's a great player, and I'm very happy for him. He's just, hard work pays off, right? Hard work pays off every time. On the right, Pedro Porro, as I say, I'll probably give him a 6. I don't think he was too. He didn't cover like the weakness in his game defensively wasn't, in my opinion, overcompensated for in his attacking play yesterday. I don't really remember him doing too much. I think he was did whip some balls in occasionally, but into dangerous areas. But he didn't really. I didn't feel like it was his best game, so I'll give him a 6. Micky van der Ven and Romero, both fantastic. Both absolutely. Van der Ven gets a goal. Romero gets an assist. What more can you ask for? And keeping a clean sheet. Superb all round, confident, like the guy said just a minute ago. Those two have got a great relationship, great chemistry, and they can yin and yang each other, right? Like one of them gets the ball and can drive at pace forward and just create something out of nothing. And the other one is just pings a lot and just has that ability to whip the ball fast, furious, direct. Fantastic. And he's becoming a real captain, fantastic as well. So, and he should have got his goal as well. Should have got his goal. It's disallowed. So outrageous. Could have had 2 goals from 2 centre-backs and an assist as well. Beautiful. Bravo to the 3 of them. Moving forward, Pellinia. Again, I'll just quickly show you like the take. I think it was from Lily White Lab. I just wasn't that. Let me see if I can get it up. There we go. Like I've been saying, I don't really understand what Pellinia offers in these sorts of games. I mean, he got pelters. He got pelters throughout from everyone's having a crack at him. And then, like I say, I don't know the guy. He seems like a nice guy whenever I've seen him. But he's been reacting. He's been reacting ever since to. He's obviously feeling the pressure of getting the heat from Twitter. I've been there, my man, Lily White Lab. I have been there. I know the pain. Being on the wrong side of an outrage. Yeah, someone else saying Pellinia today was like Sergio Busquets, one-touch football and defensively right on time and at the right place every time. Don't know which game you saw. I've seen it all now. I mean, I don't think he's Sergio Busquets levels, but Busquets is that unique playmaker that is the monster at the back and can get the ball and play it. That's not Pellinia's game, right? But there's so few players that are like Busquets. So few players that are like him in the game, in the history of the game. Claude Makélélés, those sorts of players. They're rarities. And Pellinia is not that sort of guy, but he's someone that is unsung. He's not going to be. You don't want to notice him. You don't want to notice him. You want him to be the guy. When you think back and go, do you know what? West Ham didn't really do anything today, or Liverpool didn't really have that many chances, and you can't really figure out how it went, how and why that happened until you go and look at something like this, right? And then you go and look at a player like Pellinia. And you see their heat map. I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen. Can you see it on the screen? Yeah, you can. But then you look and see touches, 79 touches, 91% pass accuracy. Long balls, 2 from 3. Shots blocked, 1. Ground duels, 1. 10. Or 8 from 10, sorry. 8 from 10. Aerial duels, 1. 3 from 5. Possession lost, only 8. Was fouled twice. Total tackles, 6. Like, those are the sorts of things where you go, that's why. That's why that team was sort of nullified. It's because players like him are not going to catch the headlines, but because they win their duels, they give the ball back and they get it to where it needs to go 90% of the time. They're perfect stats for that sort of player. So I feel the pain of Lily White Lab if he's taken a bruising from people disagreeing with him. And it looks like he's gone into more details as to why he said what he said. And I don't necessarily disagree with the argument that he's making with regards, like, do you need to always have a player like Pellinia on the pitch because there are sacrifices when you do that, and I can echo that. But you're away from home in a London derby, and we hadn't beaten West Ham in 6 years. So, on paper it should have been an easy day at the office. In reality, it was an easy day at the office, but we've thought that every time we've gone there for the last 5 years, and we haven't come away with the points. So if you went and played a Berghvall, a Bentancur, and a Sarr, and then you don't have that 6, and if Paqueta is played in the 10, not in the false 9, then you've got a real problem on your hands. You've got a real problem. I mean, that game was made easier for us because they didn't play Callum Wilson. And Callum Wilson's a handful. You know, he's old now. He's 33, 34, but he's a handful. And if you have Bowen on the right and you have Somerville on the left and you have Paqueta in the 10 and then Fernandez in the 8 in the advanced state behind them, then you've got all sorts of problems on your hands. And so like we didn't know that until we picked the team. So I think that he picked the team expecting that. So that's why. What's this? Wasn't very professional from him. Oh, here we go. Jared Bowen has been sentenced to 6 months in the Spence Penitentiary. Very good. Very good. First thing Matt Lord's ever said that's actually quite nice. You know, he must hate West Ham more than he hates Tottenham. Burke. Anyway, so yeah, let's carry on with the thing. So Pellinia for me I thought he was fantastic on the day. Did everything he wanted to do. He won the ball back, and he was just the key pass before the assist that led to Berghvall's goal. Pape Sarr, look, he pops up with goals. We know what he's great at. I also think that you have to recognise his all-round work rate. Right, he works so tirelessly. Aerial duels, 2 from 4. Lost a couple of ground duels, interceptions again, right? This is what he does. I know it's only one this time, but he knows how to read the game. People don't sleep on his footballing IQ. You don't get to intercept as often as he does unless you know how to read the game. And then you also have the physical acumen, your attributes to be able to then read the game and then also act on it, right? Act on the on whatever your mind is telling you to do. Over here to Lucas Berghvall, given the man of the match performance by Sofasaur, also given the man of the match performance by Tottenham, universally. Sensational stuff from him. I mean, he really is growing into what an unbelievable player. I still don't know what role he's supposed to play. I don't know if he's the 10. I don't know if he's an 8. I don't know. And the same with Pape Sarr. And this is the thing, right? Like, it's a beautiful headache to have. I'd love to ask you guys quickly, right? Like, you know, do you see? Let's start with Lucas Berghvall, right? So Lucas Berghvall, stick in the chat. Is he an 8? Is he a 10? Is he something else? Start with Berghvall right now. Throw a number in. What role do you see from him? We'll give details if you want, but I just want to have 30 seconds because I don't know where Berghvall's going to end up, especially in a world when we bring in a 10 or a winger in the summer and in January, and then we also have Xabi Simons and we have Decky and we have Maddison. You know, we've got a hell of a lot of people that are waiting to come back to have that 10 spot. So I don't know whether Berghvall is a 10. What is he? He's an 8. Let's have a look. 8 and a 10. Nice. No NFI. Not fucking interested, is that? Or no fucking idea? Oh, no fucking idea. There you go. 10, 8 and a 10. Rotation player for the role. I mean, what an option to have, though. Rotation, right? What an option. Yesterday, he was definitely more advanced than the 10. Yesterday, he can dribble round players in tight control, but he's more central. Yeah, he's certainly not a winger for sure. Has Matt Law blocked Sean? Probably. Oh, well. I get blocked by a lot of people for calling them out. Oh, right. Oh, fantastic, First Key. Nice. Good bants. Yeah, I think the guy's a bit of a bozo, to be honest. The shit he said about Chelsea as well. Chelsea shouldn't get sporting sanctions for 74 breaches because Chelsea insists that there was no sporting advantage. Fuck off, you absolute weapon. What are you talking about? He's an offensive 8, is he? Plush Teddy. Is that what foot managers called an offensive 8? He's press resistant. Yeah, he's a press resistant 8. Yeah. Kudus and Xabi are the only 10s ready to play at the moment. I don't know if I want to see Kudus in the 10. I mean, he could play it. He could certainly play it. I don't know if I want to see it though. I like him out on the right. I think he is exactly what I want from a right winger. And if I'm honest, he's exactly what I want from a left winger. So if you could just like duplicate and invert, and then stick it on the left hand wing, then that's what you've got. And that's what you could have had with Ademola Lookman. But there's something going on with Lookman. I don't know what it is. The fact that they couldn't sell him, they didn't sell him, no one wanted him, and he was being shopped around all for the last couple of weeks of the window, and nobody took a bite on him, not even on a loan deal. And he's now been left out of the squad when he's their second best offensive player behind De Catelier. I don't know about that. Something's going on. Sean, for me, I'd sell Lolo in the summer and have Berghvall and Sarr bench with a mid three of Powell, Madders, and Simmons. Jesus, Pellinia, Maddison, and Simmons. And that's a little bit too aggressive for me, Jaden. I think that Maddison would get chewed up playing in that in certain games. Maybe in others, maybe. It's a little bit too flamboyant, though. I think there's a little bit of an imbalance. That'd be too much responsibility on Pellinia to do it, Jaden, personally. But, you know, it's all opinions, my man. Yeah, Lookman wanted Inter only. Yeah, Inter Milan were willing to buy him, weren't they? They were willing to buy him. Oh, what's going on there? Let's go back to the final. What is going on here? That'll do for a minute. No, it won't. What are we doing here? That's better. And then, at the front end of Mathys Tel, let's have a look at Mathys Tel's stats, shall we? I mean, look at that. You're supposed to be a 9. Look at his heat map. He's all over the place. He's all over the place on that heat map. You're a 9. You expect there to be a big red blob around the D in the area, going in and out of the box, and then a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right, and then a couple of sort of patches here and there as you go further back. But that's not a 9, is it? That heat map is that. What is that? What is that? Ridiculous. What did he do? Dribble attempts 1 from 1, touches 20, ground duels 1, 2, aerial duels only 1 from 8. Fucking hell. Yeah, he was completely irrelevant, mate. He was completely irrelevant in the game. He's just running around all over the place. Like I said earlier, really, really, really disappointing performance from him. In a game when we won 3-0 and he only touched the ball 20 times as the 9. Yeah, not good. Xavi Simmons, that's what you want to see. Certainly on the left-hand side. And you can see that kind of drift in there. That's what he was getting the ball here. He would stand there, wait for the ball, and he would always just run in across that central part and then whip the ball out to the right-hand side towards Kudus. Got an assist. Ground duels 1, 3 from 3. That's very impressive. Aerial duels 1 from 2. Lost the ball 13 times. Crosses accurate. Only 1 from 7. But that's the one that I'm sure that counts as a corner. I'm sure the corner counts as a cross. Long balls accurate 4 from 4. Yeah, that's the whips across to the right wing. Sensational from him. And Mohamed Kudus as well. Absolutely brilliant. Look at this just from Kudo. Brilliant performance. I love Kudus. He's my favourite. I think if I was going to get a shirt, well, I will be getting a shirt from okjersey.com. I think I'm going to have to get Kudus on it. Yeah. Brilliant day, guys. Brilliant afternoon. And that's, loads of... and the perfect thing about all of this is that you can literally flip that team on its head for Tuesday. Right, you can bring in Bentancur for I don't know, whoever they're going to drop, whoever they're going to rest. You can bring in Richalison. You can bring in Mwani. You can bring in Udogie. You can bring in Johnson. That bench is just fantastic, isn't it? The bench, we got depth. Have I missed out some super chats? My bad, guys. Sorry. What did I get to? Daniel Phil, big up to you, Daniel, with a super sticker. Choo to you, Daniel. Appreciate you very much, my man. And Ulrika Johnson says, who do we buy from West Ham when they go down? Kilman for me as 4th choice centre back. Don't need Paqueta. Sorry if I'm 8 months ahead of time. Ulrika, who would I take from West Ham? I would take Jared Bowen. I would take Paqueta. I would take look, I want to keep an eye on that Somerville. I thought he was very good at Leeds. He looks very handy. He looks busy. He looks like a little bumblebee, like a wasp, just floating around, but just causing mayhem. He's a good player. I tell you what, that Diouf, if that Diouf can learn how to defend, they might have got a really good player there as well. He looks very, very good going forward. Very good. He's so fast, and he's got an unbelievable left foot on him, but he can't defend for toffee. So we'll see. Max Kilman for me, How old is Max Kilman now? Max Kilman is 28. Yeah, I like Max Kilman. He's a good player. I wouldn't mind, but I think we can do better than that, to be honest. I think we can do better than that. But yeah, that's about it. I wouldn't take anyone else. Wouldn't take their right back. Wouldn't take Souček, James Ward-Prowse. Yeah, there's nobody there, is there? There's nobody there. Apart. You take Jared Bowen. Bowen will surely leave at some point. He can't go down with the ship. But if he does leave, where do you think Bowen would go to? Would Bowen end up at? I wouldn't take Walker Peters. No. I don't rate him. I know that would be the argument. That will probably happen, but that's a typical Tottenham thing, isn't it? Just get him because he's club trained or whatever. You know what? Let's not do that. If we're looking for club trained, homegrown thing, let's go and get Harry Kane back in January. Now that would be great, wouldn't it? Bowen to Palace, maybe. I think Bowen could go to a better club than that. He wouldn't go to Arsenal. He wouldn't get into City. He wouldn't go to Liverpool. He might go to Liverpool if Mo Salah's leaving at any point. He might go to Chelsea, yeah. Yeah, probably Chelsea. Or to United, yeah. Yeah. Jared Branthwaite. Everton are doing a little bit, though, John. Everton are doing a little bit, mate. You might just see Everton being... I said it at the time. When Everton when they got saved by the Friedkin Group, I remember doing a video on it. I said to you guys, like, Everton are going to be okay. You know, Friedkin Group are brilliant. They know what they're doing. They've got bundles of history in European football. They know what they're doing. They know they've got good people to come in and find value, and they know how to create a good system. So Everton have been saved by a white knight. You know, I think they'll be fine. We are still a step up, of course we are. Yeah, 100%. Get over. Is James Spurs related going live now? Is it? I'll tell you what I'll do. If they're going live now, I will find the link. Oh, hang about. Let's have a look. Spurs related. Are they live? Yeah, there we go. I will do the redirect for them now. Let's go. Right, guys, I'm going to round off. I've got to take the dog out, do my bits and pieces, and then settle in for a nice afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of the show this morning. Loved yesterday. Really, really happy with how Tottenham have gone about their return to action. It's lovely to see us sitting second in the window. Really nothing to complain about at all. Everyone pulled their weight. Everyone put in a good shift. If you're looking for reasons to be a little bit, you know, find something to moan about, I guess Mathys Tel was the one person that didn't do fantastically well. And it's a shame because he's not going to have that many opportunities and he needs to take them when he does. But everybody else I thought was brilliant, generally speaking. Pedro Porro maybe wasn't sensational. And I think Jed Spence didn't have too much to do. Yeah, great. Listen, great day. We're second. Everything's good. Tuesday, Villarreal, the Champions League is back. The champions. You'll see me back again later on for another show or an upload or whatever else. But I'm not done today. You'll also see me on Football Inc. at some point this afternoon as well. Like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for all the super chats, you wonderful people. And I'll see you a little bit later on. Get yourself over to Spurs Related. Stay where you are. You're going to go get redirected over there now. Go and smash the subscribe and show your support for those guys. And I'll see you later on, guys. Take care. Bye.